Hey everybody, welcome to T-Roy Cooks. Appreciate you joining on this Tuesday chatting with old T-Roy. This is where I answer your questions. If you got a question for me, ask it down in the comments section below. If I mention any YouTube channels or if you have any questions about any of the items we discuss, I'll see what I can put down in the description box for you. Just check show more, just hit show more down below the video. Open the description box. You'll see all kind of information down there along with these questions I'm fixing to answer and where at in the video. So you can click the little timestamp and it'll take you to that part of the video for that particular questions if you're interested. And man, I can't thank y'all enough for all the questions. I pulled these questions from the last 2 chat episodes, both of the most recent live one from last Tuesday and from the previous taped chat. And I'm still trying to continue alternating. One Tuesday I'll do live, the next one taped, next one live, next one taped, that kind of thing. Hopefully I can keep that up. We'll see how it goes. Oh, and if you missed my cooking show this past Thursday, I apologize. I could not upload a video. I was too busy with court. I had jury duty and I actually got selected. So I was doing my civic duty. Went well, so that's over with, and I'll have a video for you this coming Thursday. So there you go. I appreciate all you who hang in there while I can't put videos up every once in a while. Doesn't happen too often. Oh, what am I drinking? I'll tell you what, it's still kind of early in the morning, so got me a little bottle of water, y'all. It's not quite beer 30. There we go. Put it in my nice Yeti tumbler right here. That's what we'll be sipping on today. Just like that. Hey, cheers. It'd help if you open the lid. Yeah, nice cold water. Alright, let's get to it. Let's see who we got some questions from. First question is from Roy Greenhaw. He says, hey T-Roy, love your channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Roy. He says, I watch it every time you post videos or a live chat, but I just wanted to know if you're interested in doing a smoked bologna video. Man, you know, Roy, that's something I have not done yet. I haven't done any kind of smoked bologna. Thought about it, I just never have done it. So I appreciate the suggestion and the question, and I will put that on my list of things to do. We'll see what happens. Of course, you know I'll make it my own way. Alright, next question is from Wes G. Thank you for the question, Wes. He says, woo pig, T-Roy, all the way from Arkansas. Appreciate that, Wes. Justin will love that. Cheers to you, man. Yo, old baby back maniac Justin, man, my brother from another mother. He's up in the Dallas area right now, but he originally is from Arkansas. In fact, he went to college in Arkansas, man. Arkansas University of Arkansas. Yeah. Anyway, Razorbacks. Wes says, I got a question for you. As I sip my Lost Brewing Honey Rock and chasing it with Coors made with some Arkansas fine rice. Okay, there you go. Cheers to you. As always. Alright, here we go with the question. Wes says, I bought an Oklahoma Joe combo gas grill, side box smoker, charcoal grill, which will be perfect for my family. Quick gas dogs and burgers for the kids, and lump charcoal and smoked food for the adults. Sounds good to me. Says, my question is, I'm thinking about ordering an Oklahoma Joe Longhorn Side box smoker. Also, and the specs look similar to Yoder Wichita, except a little bit smaller. What do you think of Oklahoma Joe products before I invest another $500 into them? You know what they are? When I went and did that tour at the Yoder plant, you know, there were the owner there was actually telling us that the Oklahoma Joe was their inspiration for their pits. So you're right, the Oklahoma Joe and the Yoder offsets, they do look similar, very similar in fact. And the Yoders are a little bit more well built, you know, but the Oklahoma Joes work, man. They really do. They're a great pit, you know. They're more on the beginner side of the lineup, you know. So if you're looking for something that may last you, you know, 8 to 10 years, Oklahoma Joe, maybe 15 years, you know, that'll work, man. That'll work. You may have to do some mods to it, you know, try to keep it from leaking so much and burning so much fuel. But it's a well-built smoker, all right? Can't go wrong with it. You know, any kind of offset's going to give you good results for flavoring your meat. But when you start getting into those more pricey offsets, that's when you get thicker metal, You get better seals on your doors and your vents and your stack and stuff like that. So you just kind of get what you pay for most of the time when it comes to your offsets. But Oklahoma Joe, I wouldn't mind having one in my backyard if I didn't have an offset right now. They work great, man. I think he's got another question. He says, also my brother-in-law's family owns an irrigation company, and he's built a large trailer smoker that just eats charcoal. Yeah, man, you don't want to burn charcoal. You want to burn wood in a big smoker like that, man. He says, I'm sure some of the heat loss is because of the thickness of the metal. Could be. He says, well, I'd like to build one for my backyard. That's a semi-permanent fixture. What thickness of steel should I use? And in your opinion, should I build like a cabinet smoker or a side box? We have a large family, a large extended family, and for big get-togethers, I need big quantities of meat. So the built one would be for a purpose, and the store-bought would be for a purpose. Okay, you know, the cabinet smokers are pretty cool because you can hang meat in them. You can hang sausages and stuff in them, or you can just lay your meat on the trays, you know, on the grill grates, and just let them smoke like you normally would on a regular offset. So either way you want to go with that. A lot of times you will find that the cabinet smokers will give you a little bit more room, you know, because they're square. Whereas your offsets, they're round, so that top shelf, you're not getting quite the full width of the pipe. You know, the bottom rack you will, usually, but the top rack you're kind of closed in because it's up in the curve of the pipe. So you lose a little bit of room there. As far as the thickness of the metal, I'd go with at least 3/8, 1/4 inch if you can get it. All right, and maybe on the firebox, go 1/2 inch. That's pretty good estimate. Hope that helps, Wes, and thanks for the questions, man. I appreciate it. Oh, and cheers to you. All right, we got a question from Skinner's Farms. He's got a channel if you're interested. I'll put the link down below. It says, do you ever add onion powder to your SPG mix on beef or pork? Every once in a blue moon I will, especially with beef, you know. Beef and onion go real good together. But most of the time I don't. You know, if you do, in my experience anyway, you don't need a whole lot of onion powder because it's pretty strong stuff. So go light with it. But yeah, it'll work. I just salt, pepper, garlic, that's just a basic rub. You can always take that basic rub and enhance it. Throw you some herbs, some oregano or some thyme or something in there, some rosemary. Spruce it up a little bit if you want, you know. Throw you a little bit of a cayenne in there like I do every once in a while. That heat kind of dissipates as it cooks. So what you're left with is the flavor of the cayenne, not so much of the heat. But yeah, man, go for it. I've done it before. It works. It's good stuff. Next question is from Sean Matsuda. He says, have you ever tried dry or wet brining a brisket before smoking? I've dry brined a brisket, and it worked out really, really well. It did. Because if you dry brine, it's going to soak up all that salt. The meat's going to soak that salt up in your brine, and it's going to help flavor the brisket. Okay, help give it a more beefy flavor than it would normally have. I've never wet brined, but wet brining would also do the same thing. Okay, so either way would work. I would probably prefer dry brining though, because you've got a big old hunk of brisket, unless you've got a huge bag or some kind of a one of them plastic containers like you sous vide and stuff in. Unless you have something like that to put your brisket in with all that wet marinade, which is going to be a lot of liquid. I just do the dry brine. And when you do the dry brine, maybe put it on a like a cookie cooling rack, you know, so it's got air circulating all around the meat while it's in your fridge. Works out well though. I usually just don't do it because I just don't want to mess with it. But it'll work really well. It'll actually impart more flavor into your meat than if you just put the rub on there like an hour or two before you put it on the smoker. You know, just dry brine overnight or wet brine, and you'll get more flavor. Plus, it'll help hold the moisture in the meat. Appreciate the question there, Sean. Next question is from Hilbert. He says, hi, Troy, love the chats, both the live and the recorded. I appreciate that, Hilbert. Thank you very much, man. He says, do you really need to spritz the meat on a Weber Smoky Mountain? Doesn't the water pan already ensure there is enough moisture? yeah, your meat's not really going to dry out. When you're spritzing meat on any kind of a smoker, what you're doing is coating the surface of the meat with some moisture so that that moisture will attract smoke. It'll help develop a nice bark. That's the reason you want to spritz on the Weber Smoky Mountain. All right, now sometimes if I'm doing a long brisket cook or something like that on my offset and it's really dry humidity, sometimes I'll put a pan of water next to the firebox in the cooking chamber and help add some additional moisture into the cooking chamber of the offset. But you're right, the water pan that's in the Weber Smoky Mountain takes care of that, so you don't really have to worry about that. But I still spritz because I want a nice bark. So that's the reason behind it. Appreciate the question, Hilbert. Cheers to you, my brother. Next question is from Stacy Holland. I appreciate the question, Stacy. Thank you very much. It says, hey T-Roy, love your videos. My question is, I just got a Weber kettle and I'm doing some offset cooking and grilling. I want to attempt a brisket, but I don't think I figured out temperature control quite yet. Could you give me some tips? Yeah, on the Weber kettle, man, it's really easy. You can just use the regular charcoal pans that came with the kettle. You know, put them against one side of the Weber kettle. What you want to do though is light like one corner of each of those two baskets, and kind of use the snake method to let the charcoals light slowly throughout those baskets. The other thing you can do is just take the baskets out, line up charcoal briquettes like 3 layers high, you know, 1, 2, 3, and do a snake method on the inside of your Weber kettle. You know, just on the charcoal grate, just line up, just stand the 3 charcoal briquettes up against the wall, and line them up all, you know, like halfway around if you want, and light one end, and that should give you a nice long slow burn as well. As far as the vents, I usually like to leave my bottom vent maybe a quarter open, maybe, you know, a third open, sometimes half. Just kind of depends on how windy it is and temperature, stuff like that. Kind of finagle with that bottom vent a little bit. The top vent, I usually just kind of keep it about halfway open all the time, because that'll let some of the heat escape and keep some of that smoke in. And if you find that you aren't getting enough smoke, you can maybe open the bottom vent a little bit more to get a little bit more heat, which will generate a little bit more smoke. You know, if you're putting some wood chunks or wood chips in there, hot charcoal will heat the wood, make more smoke. And you can close down the top vent to maybe a quarter of the way to retain some of that smoke flavor in your meat instead of letting the smoke escape. But you'll get the hang of it, man. The Weber kettle is really easy, and once you get those vents set kind of close to where you want, the only fluctuations you're really going to see is as some charcoal briquettes start to die out and some light up, or maybe if some wood catches fire or goes out, you may see 20 to 50 degree temperature swing every once in a while, but usually not even that much. So I wouldn't worry about that. When you're doing some smoking on a cooker, any kind of smoker like that, a 25 to 50 degree temperature fluctuation is not going to hurt anything. Okay, don't be dead set on having to keep it at 225 or 250. It can swing a little, you know, 25 degrees. It's not going to hurt one way or the other. Okay, as long as you stay in that 25 above or below range from what your target temp is, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. But I'm sure you get the hang of it. The Weber kettle is wonderful. And you can also get a slow and sear. It makes it really easy. The slow and sear from Adrenaline Barbecue, I'll put a link down below. They have a wonderful product. It's even got a little water pan, which helps introduce some moisture into the cooking chamber of the Weber kettle. And you can do the snake method using a long, low and slow cook with the slow and sear. You know, load it up with charcoal, light one end, let it snake through the rest of the charcoal. I've actually gotten like a 12 or 14 hour cook using the slow and sear fully loaded without having to refuel it. It's a wonderful product, and it's made out of 304 stainless steel, so you ain't got to worry about it rusting out and messing up. Appreciate the question. I think that was Stacy. Yeah, that was Stacy. Thanks. Appreciate it, Stacy, very much. Next question is from FishPig65. He says, hey T-Roy, great video. I've been smoking meat for a few years on an old school pit. He said his old school pit is the concrete blocks and plywood where he builds a fire and shovels the coals under it. That is old school, man. Sure is. He says, oh, he's also got a Weber kettle. Says he's got a cheap smoker, a Dynaglo, as a gift, and it does okay. The old block smoker tastes better in my opinion. Any thoughts? No briquettes, wood only. Yeah, you're right, man. Oh, that old school cooker, that's a very efficient way to get a lot of good flavor into your meat. You know, just set up your cinder blocks, put you some plywood and some kind of a grill grate type thing over the cinder blocks. Not plywood. Just, you know, make you some kind of a mesh out of some metal to make you a grill grate. That way it'll hold the meat up. But yeah, man, just shoveling coals. You know, you light your wood and put it off in like some kind of a barrel or something. And in the bottom of the barrel, you put a scoop you up with a shovel some of your coals. Put that under your grill on your, you know, within the blocks of cinder blocks, and that's where you get your heat from. So you get a nice smoke flavor because it's real wood from the burning coals, and you get heat. It's pretty much the same thing as an offset. You may get a little bit less smoke flavor on that kind of cooker than you would on the offset, because the offset has the way it's constructed, you get more airflow over the wood as it's burning, and that smoke gets into the meat, and you'll get a little bit more smoke flavor because the wood is not combusted all the way yet. Whereas if you're just shoveling coals from wood that's already burned up, that's not going to produce as much smoke flavor. But it's all good. Those old school cookers, tried and true, man. They work. They work really, really well. Close to the same flavor as an offset. Next question is from Daniel Hawkins. He says, "Hey T-Roy, cheers." Hey Daniel, cheers to you. Appreciate the support, man. Alright. Daniel says, "I have an Oklahoma Joe offset smoker with a gas combo. I'm new to smoking meat, and I learned some valuable lessons from your YouTube videos." Thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. Says, question: sometimes the food tastes too much like smoke. Any advice? If it tastes too much like smoke, that means you're not getting enough airflow through your offset. So open the offset intake vent on the firebox and make sure that stack is all the way open. Open the vent for the stack all the way. And if you are still getting a ton of smoke, like it's making your food taste bitter because it's overly smoked, then you may try opening, you know, just crack the firebox door a little bit, let a little bit more air in there. Okay, that should get the proper airflow going through so that the smoke is kissing your meat and not lingering too much, not smoldering the wood. You know, make sure you got nice seasoned wood as well. And if you need to, preheat the wood. That'll help. You know, like maybe build the fire on one side of your firebox and then put a unburned stick on the other opposite side away from the fire. It'll be close enough where it'll warm up, but not so close that it catches fire. The other thing you can do is stick the wood split on top of the firebox, and that will heat it before you put it on the fire. So preheated wood will catch fire and combust a lot quicker, and you don't have a lot of smoldering smoke from it because it's not taking all that time to warm up in the firebox and combust in the fire. Okay, so try that, see if that helps. It could just be the wood you're using, but do make sure you got adequate flow coming from the firebox all the way through the cooking chamber and out the stack. Okay, try to get that thin blue smoke if you can. That's a good sign that you're getting proper airflow. That was a great question, Daniel. I appreciate it. All right, folks. It's hit 12 noon. It's time for a beer. Hang on. There we go. Willing. That's one of my favorites. Y'all seen me drink this before. Made by Brazos Valley Brewing Company, right here, close to me in Austin, Texas. This is a Mosaic Pale Ale, one of my favorites. Cheers, guys. Oh yeah, that's good. I like that. Got that nice grapefruit, citrusy flavor. And I like grapefruit. Red grapefruit, ruby reds. Question from Harold Robinson. He says, "T-Roy, you are my inspiration." I appreciate that, Harold. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for all the support, man. Couldn't do all this without you guys. I just love this interaction we get, man. I love it. I love it, love it. That's why I like the live chats too, you know, because I can interact with all you guys and just chill out and have a good time. But these taped ones are nice too. I got fans that like the taped one better than the live one because I can actually go and answer questions and not just babble, you know. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm thinking over here. Harold says, I live up by Lake Texoma in Denison. Oh, that's cool, man. Lake Texoma has some really nice fishing. I haven't been up there, but I hear it's real nice. I need to go check it out. All right, Harold says he's got a 14-inch Weber Smoky Mountain in January, and he totally enjoys it. Very cool. So you've had it for, 6 months? I'm sure you got it figured out by now. It don't take but maybe 5 or 6 cooks to really get that thing seasoned up on the inside and get it dialed in where you're getting some good smokes on it. So I know you're going to have a great summer. Where are we at? Harold says, my question is, would I benefit more from upgrading to a larger Weber Smoky Mountain or step up to an offset or maybe a pellet smoker? Well, man, Harold, that really depends on what kind of, how much meat you're cooking and what kind of flavor you want in the meat. How much time you have to do the cook, If you are working a regular 9-to-5 job, and you got kids that are in sports in the summertime and stuff, you don't have a lot of time to do barbecue. Pellet smoker may work for you, or a nice gas grill with a smoking box on it would work, If you do have time, then yes, I would consider getting a larger Weber Smoky Mountain. It will cook the same as the 14-inch. It'll have really great flavor. In fact, the Weber Smoky Mountain, in my opinion, has the best flavor next to an offset, a real offset stick burner. So the Weber Smoky Mountains have really good flavor. You can also look at getting maybe a pit barrel cooker. Those are set it and forget it, You get a little bit of cross between a smoked and a grilled flavor with a pit barrel cooker. It's the rib cooking champ, in my opinion, man. Any kind of rib or chicken comes out fantastic because what happens, you're hanging the meat, or the meat is directly over the charcoal that's burning in the bottom of the barrel, and all the grease drippings get on that charcoal and then vaporize, come back up into the meat and infuse the meat with flavors that you normally wouldn't get on the Weber Smoky Mountain because you got that water pan, and you don't get it on the offset because the heat's on the side of the offset and you're just cooking with air and smoke, and heat from the air. So you get a little bit different flavor from the pit barrel cooker. As far as the pellets go, I haven't found a pellet cooker that can give you the same smoke flavor as a Weber Smoky Mountain or an offset. So bear that in mind. If you get a pellet, pellets are wonderful. They're very easy to cook on. You just don't get quite the same smoke flavor as you do on Weber Smoky Mountain or even the pit barrel cooker for that matter, or an offset for sure. Thanks for the support, Harold. I appreciate it. And cheers to you, brother. You never know, I may be up there at Lake Texoma doing some fishing one day and I'll say hello to you. How about that? Cheers. Next question we have is from Bark and Bite, or Bark in Bite with an N, Barbecue. Bark and Bite Barbecue. It says, hey T-Roy, cheers to you. Cheers to you, brother. Hey, there you go. It's really good beer, y'all. Alright, he says, I'm getting ready to build an offset with a 500-gallon tank. That's going to be a large offset, man. Woo, doggy. He says, how do I figure how long the stack should be? If you don't know for sure, who can I ask? Thanks, and keep on cooking. I really don't know. I've never built my own pit. I'm not sure what the mathematics are that are involved in trying to figure out how much or how long your stack has to be to get a good draw from the firebox through the cooking chamber. It all depends on the diameter of the stack too, so bear that in mind. Not just the height of the stack, the diameter of the stack. I know that there's some good forums out there that for people that build barbecue smokers, offsets, homemade. I want to check out some of those forums like that. Or you could, maybe contact somebody like Chris Goodlander over at Lone Star Grills, or even guys up at Gator Pits. Ask them, they may be able to tell you if they feel so inclined. They're not really sharing any of their trade secrets there, but they'll probably know the mathematics behind it is what I'm getting at. So hopefully that'll help. Another thing you can look at too is, find somebody that builds homes. They would know the mathematics if the home has a chimney. It's the same principle. You've got chimney, you've got the house, that's the cooking chamber. chimney's the firebox, the house is the cooking chamber, and then you got a stack. How high's that stack got to be? There's mathematics involved. So I hope that helps, man. I really truly don't know the answer, but hopefully that'll help. If any of you guys out there that follow me know the answer, you know the mathematics, please put it in the comments section of this video and I'll pin it, okay? That way it'll show up at the top for everybody else. This is a great question, man. Great question. Sorry I didn't know the answer to that one. Nikki D's Kitchen. What's going on, Nikki? How you doing, girl? Says, well, it could be a guy too. I don't know. Anyway, probably a female. Says, been wanting to start my own YouTube channel and you inspired me to do so. I like your style. Very cool. Good deal, Nikki. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Says, but I want to do both cooking in the kitchen and in the backyard. Well, that's what I do. I cook inside and outside. He says, or she says, what advice would you give me to be successful on YouTube? Should I stick to in the house or outside or a combination of the two, or keep it focused on one? Your thoughts? You know, do whatever feels comfortable to you. I will say that if you have a nice looking outside area where you can shoot, that's probably best, because natural lighting is always going to be better than indoor lighting. If you're going to be shooting inside, make sure you have adequate lighting. You need a lot of light when you're shooting inside. I've got ceiling, recessed ceiling lights in my ceiling in the kitchen, and that really helps. And I got quite a few of them, probably like 10 lights up in there. So you need a lot of light inside. And also inside, you've got the walls that will echo your voice, so you need to worry about that. Do some test runs inside. Make sure you've got good lighting and make sure your audio sounds okay. And if it sounds good and looks good, go for it. Go for it. As your channel grows, you can always reinvest the money that you get off your AdSense from YouTube. The monetization of stuff, you know, when you start monetizing videos, you can get that money coming in and you can use that to buy new equipment just like I do. You know, I got cameras, audio equipment, lighting, all that stuff, you know, so it helps. You know, just reinvest in your channel and keep it growing. You know, people, if you watch a video that has really bad audio, you're gonna turn it off. You're gonna change and watch a different video. Vice versa, if you got a video that sounds great but the video quality is not up to par, you know, it's choppy or colors are off or whatever, people aren't gonna watch it. So you got to worry about all that stuff, okay? As far as cooking inside and outside, that totally depends on you. Most of the cooking channels do focus either inside or outside. Depends on what you do more. If you choose to just do one, do you cook more inside or do you cook more outside? Go that way. You could do like me, cook both inside and outside. Usually when I cook inside, it's going to be usually around the fall, winter time, you know, because maybe it's sleeting or very rarely snows, but sometimes it does. So I don't want to mess with all the inclement weather outside. I'll just cook inside. Or if maybe I'm making a side for some barbecue or something, you know, I'll cook that inside. If you want to concentrate everything outside, that's cool too. I would, again, make sure you got some place where you can film and you're not really having to worry about rain or high winds. You can even, if you like cooking stuff like on a stove type situation, but cook outside, get your propane burner. Like I've got the Camp Chef. I love that thing. It's a 2 propane burner and it's just like cooking on the stove inside. So maybe that'll work for you. But just kind of do what feels best to you. Do what makes the most sense for your channel and what kind of videos you want to make. And the people will find you, they will follow you, they'll fall in love with you, you know. Just do your own thing. Have fun with it. I wish you much success. And cheers to you, Nikki. I truly do hope that you do very well out there, okay? Next question is from Christine Mickelson. Christine says, I have a stick burner and a barrel now. Very cool, Christine. She says, my Lone Star Grill meat tastes like fine wine. You are absolutely right. You gotta love them Lone Star Grills, man. She says the smoke and meat flavor is smooth and clean. The meat on my barrel house tastes like the greasy corner diner grill. Hasn't been cleaned in forever, even on my brand new barrel. It's still a savory flavor from the barrel house and not disagreeable at all. It just hits your taste buds harder and heavier than the offset. Yeah, those barrel houses, man, they're a lot like. In fact, I think they mimicked the pit barrel cookers. What they did, and I think there may be some litigation going on about that too. So I don't know how long a barrel house is going to be in business. But anyway, back to the question. The Lone Star Grill is going to give you a lot better flavor. As I was mentioning earlier with the pit barrel cooker, those types of UDS type cookers and stuff, your meat is dripping the grease drippings down into the charcoal that's below, and that's infusing the meat with all of the vaporized fat flavors, that are going into the charcoal and coming back up as a gas, as a steam. So that's the difference in the flavor. Okay. Some people like it, some people don't. I actually prefer it sometimes because it's kind of boring eating barbecue the same way all the time. So it's nice to have a little bit of grill flavor in your meat. I like that. So it's a nice change of pace for me. But both ways work. Both ways are fine. Nothing wrong with either way you want to go about it. But I know what you're talking about. I do. I know what you're talking about, Christine. Folks, I hope that answered the question. I didn't really see that there was a question there. But again, I appreciate the support. And guys, thank you for all the questions. If I didn't ask your question and answer it this time, stay tuned. I save those questions and I will add them and try to keep up with them as best I can on future chats. So if you got a question for them, put it in the comment section down below on this video and I will answer it. Or if this is an older video, find my more recent chat video, put your question there, because I'm always pulling from the most recent or the two most recent chat videos. I'm not going back to a year ago and pulling comments, looking for questions that far back. Just like the two most recent ones for sure. Okay? Appreciate y'all joining. If y'all enjoy this kind of stuff, y'all give me some thumbs up. Folks, I hope you share the video. Be sure and check out the description below for more information. But I hope you share the video. And when you do, please tell all your friends that T-Roy cooks responsibly. Cheers, everybody. We'll see y'all next Tuesday.